This story is actually not my own, it's my grandma's. She told me to email it to you, as emailing isn't her favorite thing to do. But she absolutely loves your voice and your channel. When my grandma and grandpa retired, they moved to a retirement community in Florida. It was more like a resort, actually. They were super excited about it. They had talked about retirement for nearly 20 years, and they always said they were going to retire to Florida because it was warm and beautiful, and they worked their butts off from the time they got married to do just that. They involved the whole family in the decision-making process when it came to picking out the place. Well, more or less, they let us think we were involved. They'd have us all over and show us brochures and virtual tours of places they were vetting. Ultimately, they settled on a resort-like retirement apartment building that had everything from pools and hot tubs to tennis courts and an art studio. The virtual tour also showed it was dangerously close to a large shopping mall and near many restaurants, which was good and bad, because my grandma loves shopping and my grandpa's a total foodie. The place they chose was 5 hours away from us, so we were all sad to see them go, because they were the pillars of our family, but they deserved to live out their retirement the exact way they wanted. So we all gathered as a family to help them pack and see them off. Now the rest of this story is directly from my grandma. She said her and Grandpa made it safely to their new place and pretty much immediately needed a nap. Luckily, they had shipped most of their things ahead of time, and actually just bought a new bed and had it delivered to the new place, since theirs was old and needed to be replaced anyway. Grandma was woken about a half hour into her nap in cold shivers. She said she was shaking as if it was cold enough to snow in the room, but it was Florida in the middle of summer, and the air conditioning was on, but not at a super cold temperature. She woke my grandpa, but he said he didn't feel anything. It wasn't cold to him, concern all over his face as she was shivering. After moving around for a bit and getting a cup of tea, she returned to normal, and the incident was quickly forgotten. Later that night, Grandpa had went for his usual evening treadmill workout, and Grandma stayed behind to unpack a few things, because organization seriously makes that lady happy. She was unpacking her mug collection and placing them on the fancy rack Grandpa had surprised her with, when there was a knock on their door. No deliveries were scheduled or appointments set up, so Grandma was a bit apprehensive to answer the door without Grandpa there. He was her lifelong protector. She didn't stray far from his side if she didn't have to. She apprehensively made her way over to the door, peered into the peephole, and saw nothing. Opening the door, she saw no one there, and there was no noise down either side of the hallway to indicate someone had knocked and ran. She quickly shut the door behind her and locked it. Not sure she should tell Grandpa about a second incident in one day, not wanting him to think she was crazy. She didn't say a word, and they went to bed after he returned back from his workout and took a shower. The next day went by fast. They went out to explore the new community they were now a part of. Grandpa showed Grandma the fitness center, they took a dip in the hot tub, and they even grabbed an ice cream cone from the coffee shop in the lobby of the complex. I remember receiving a picture from Grandma that day of their ice cream cones, and never thought for 1 second there was anything sinister going on. It was late afternoon, and Grandpa again went to do his workout like clockwork, while Grandma went upstairs to start dinner. She was chopping the onions for the spaghetti sauce, and she dropped the knife out of surprise. She noticed the cabinet she was using for their meds was slowly opening on its own. When she noticed, the cabinet quickly shut as if someone was caught in the act. It wasn't until that night that Grandpa was finally clued in to what was going on. They were in bed for maybe 2 hours when suddenly the bedroom door slammed shut. It slammed so hard that the painting on the wall next to the door fell to the ground and the glass frame shattered. Both of them instantly shot up in bed, Grandpa already halfway to the door before Grandma could even get her glasses on. When Grandpa reached for the door handle, it wouldn't open. He jiggled it 2 or 3 times, and it still wouldn't budge. To this day, he still claims it was as if a 350-pound man was on the other side using all his force to keep it closed. At this point, he was sure they were being robbed, so he motioned for Grandma to call 911, but her phone was out in the kitchen. She had forgotten to pick it back up after going into the fridge to grab her nightly water bottle for her nightstand. Grandpa whispered, "Hit the security panic button they showed us during the walkthrough." She did, and not even 5 full minutes later, security was knocking on their door, then opening it while yelling out, "Security, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, are you okay?" By the time the security guard came in, whoever or whatever was holding the door shut was gone, because the security guard opened their bedroom door with ease. They explained the situation, and to their surprise, the guard said, "I was hoping they wouldn't put anyone in this room again. The last 2 tenants left because of similar incidents." Needless to say, Grandpa marched down to the front desk when they opened the next morning and demanded a different suite. Thankfully, they weren't even close to unpacked, so it didn't take long to pack back up and move to another one. They haven't put another tenant in that suite since. They actually make money renting it out to paranormal investigators, some of which have claimed it's very active with spiritual activity. As for Grandma and Grandpa, it's been about a year, and they haven't experienced anything unusual since. Happy retirement to them, geesh. That would be enough for me to move back home. Hi, Kelsey's grandma. Thanks for loving my channel. Thank you, Kelsey, for sharing your grandparents' story. Hearing you speak about them reminded me of my grandparents, who I miss very much, so cherish them while they're here. If you have a paranormal story to share for an upcoming video, email it to the address in the description below. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. And with that, see you tomorrow, friends.